morning and welcome to the formal announcement of the Canada Jobbers Grant for summer students. This is a grant provided by the Minister of, Technical Difficulties, Families, Children and Social Development, which is a new ministry that was created under our government. I want to say before I begin, there's coffee, tea and lots of muffins, so please come help yourself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim Rudd, and I'm your Member of Parliament for Northumberland, Peterborough South, and it gives me great pleasure to be here today to talk about the importance of the grant, the changes to the grant, and why we did what we did in terms of determining how this process will work for our ridings. We do have a PowerPoint slide. It's not necessary to read it all. We will be giving it out to the press for further details as well as a press release. But I think it's important to understand the changes that have happened within the grant. And I'm going to run through a few of those. Matt, we're good? Okay. So as you know, the grant applies to not-for-profit agencies, municipalities, small businesses under 50 employees. And how they're funded is different. So it applies to youth from 15 to 30 who intend to go back to school. And now we say intend to go back to school. We don't take it away from them if they don't go back to school. But it really is about an opportunity for them to get, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but experience in the world of work, also to assist organizations like yourselves to perhaps do additional programming you wouldn't be able to do, or help you as an organization get through a particular project. Apparently I'm ahead of the screens. The other thing about, and this last point I think is very important, it recognizes local circumstances, community needs, and that priorities vary widely. And that's certainly something we found as we received the recommendations, if you will, from Service Canada about who should get the grants, the amount they should get, and basically where the line in the sand is drawn. However, we discovered that that line is a floating line, so we made some adjustments. Because it is important to recognize that in communities such as ours, especially in a rural riding, there are some unique opportunities and some unique experiences that can be had that would not necessarily happen in a more urban riding. And I will say we were able to provide a number of placements for the agricultural community, which is really exciting. There we go. So, not-for-profit organizations are eligible for 100% funding up to the provincial minimum wage for their students. They're also eligible to receive the reimbursement for what I call the mandatory benefits, Canada Pension, EI, etc. Municipalities and small businesses under 50 employees will receive 50% of the provincial minimum wage and no additional support for benefits. Apparently, there we go. We can go to the next one. And the next one. That's okay. There we go. So how the process works, and I think it's important for people to understand, because I do get questions of, well, how did you decide? Why did we apply for 8 and we got 2, or somebody applied for 40. And so Service Canada does do the initial screening, and the screening is based on a set of criteria. We talked about some of those. And there is a line basically drawn in the Excel spreadsheet that says everyone above here fits into your budget. But there were organizations below that line that, because we know you as organizations, we recognize are really important to address. So, hence the moving line. We can change or modify as long as we stay within the parameters of funding, and obviously we don't go over budget, because that's never a good thing. Thank you. So as I said, we decided to take a different approach to maximize the number of organizations who will receive funding. We also changed it so that the students will receive the maximum opportunity. So in the past, sometimes they only had 6 weeks of funding for their placement. A lot of these students are saving for post-secondary education. 6 weeks sort of leaves them in a bit of limbo. It's not enough to do what they need to do. And as a former entrepreneur and small business owner, by the time you get someone in for 6 weeks, you've just really got them trained and they're leaving. So it's not good for the employer either. So staff reviewed the initial applications, and as a result, we're happy to announce that 62 additional organizations that would not have received funding under the original line did receive funding, and able to obtain placement for 8 to 12 weeks rather than what was the usual 6 to 8 weeks in the previous years. So we're very happy about that. We believe it will make a difference, as I said, for organizations, but as well as students. So 2015, just over $250,000 came to Northumberland. This riding, I won't use the name because it was different in 2015. As you know, as you can see by the green this year, over $625,000. In our campaign promise as a government, we said that we were going to help create jobs for youth. We took it very seriously. And this riding is going to benefit from that commitment. Number of jobs created in 2015, it was 113 student jobs. This year, 248, more than double. Percentage of projects by sector, you'll see the business sector, 39, not-for-profit sector, 47, and the public sector, 14. And jobs by sector pretty well follow the same pie chart with a small variation. So, and I hope I'm not blocking anymore because these are charts. Am I too far from, am I still okay with mine? Okay. 2015 total dollars were $284,000, 2016 almost $626,000. 86 projects in 2015, 129 projects in 2016. The not-for-profit sector, you'll see the change. Not-for-profit sector was 80% last year and 47% this year. Public sector stayed about the same, but the private sector increased this year. It's about helping students get a variety of job experiences. As I said, we gave a number this year to the agriculture sector, which is considered the private sector, but we think that's a good place to provide an opportunity for students. I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Could we go to the next one? Thank you. Dollars invested in jobs by sector. So the business sector was just under $213,000, not-for-profit $250,000, and the public sector $162,000. And see, now you all know how to get me. Not that you didn't. I just want to take a minute before I wrap up, and I'm going to introduce someone who's going to come and actually talk about their own experiences. This, on a personal level, as well as being your member of Parliament, your representative, is such an important piece of what we do. I have two 17-year-old grandsons looking for summer jobs. Anybody has some? One was lucky enough this year. Last year, he did a sort of lawn business, maintenance business. He realized he liked it so much, he put in a grant application and he got the summer company grant, thank you. And he's so excited, and here's someone who I never thought would be doing a business plan and you know, having to sell himself to get clients. And I see the motivation coming when the experience happens. And that's what we want for our students. We want them to have an experience that motivates them on to the next. We all know that they may come back next year and apply again because they may be in school for a good number of years, but they may be close to being finished. And we want this experience to be something that helps them determine what their next experience is going to be. And as employers, I have to say thank you, because you do so much of the heavy lifting and work. It's not just about having a student come and sit in your office or be on your farm or be at the Capitol Theatre or whatever it is. They just don't arrive and all of a sudden they do things. It takes a lot of work on behalf of the employer to get prepared for them, to help plan their work, and to be there to support them when things don't always go as smoothly as everyone would like them to be or anticipate that they would be. So first of all, I want to give a big round of applause to the employers, to all of you. Thank you so much for your support and your work you do in this program. And then I'd like all the students who are here today to stand up. Because get used to this, getting put on the spot. Thank you very much for taking the time to come. Wishing you all the best in your new roles, and I'm sure it will be a fantastic experience. So thank you very much. And we have Wotton Employment Services with us here today, and Wotton has asked me to let all the employers know if you're still looking for students, please get in touch with them. They have a great form that you can fill out, and they will help you get the student to fit your organization. So please, they're fabulous to work with, and as I have over the many, many years, and I know they're eager to help if you need them. This is off script, sorry. Before I introduce our next speaker, does anyone have any question for me, or shall we wait till after? Okay, we'll wait till after. I got the nod. I do that sometimes. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jennifer Moore. I will expect most of you know Jennifer Moore. She's the CAO of Northumberland County. And Jennifer and I have been crossing paths a lot over the last while. Jennifer is very committed to this program, and I'm going to let her tell you why. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here this morning to be part of the 2016 launch of the Canada Summer Jobs Program. At Northumberland County, we sincerely appreciate our partnership with the federal government to offer summer jobs to students from across the county. And it's been a little while, but it's not been that long, and I still remember when I was searching for a summer job as a student, and I can say firsthand that I know that the experiences that these students have today really will shape their future career paths. This year, a grant of over $28,000 has covered 50% of the wages for a dozen students at the county. These individuals offer help in all lines of work, ranging from roads technicians and construction to community and social services in the forest trail crews, to tourism and communications. The arrangement works for the students as an opportunity to gain experience for their future careers, and it works tremendously for us as an employer as they offer invaluable perspective and support to our operations. Some employers express concern about the time required to invest in students and the work that they're able to do. But a great quote, and I'm sure you've all heard it before, that I think really does apply here. It applies to all the students that have passed through the county corridors. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And we've really seen in the past that what students can do, what they make out of the opportunity to work in these really exciting roles. One of our students took the lead for the development of the county's energy conservation and demand management plan. This plan was ultimately endorsed by council and is now being implemented, resulting in energy savings, reducing our carbon footprint, and driving awareness among staff to be more cautious towards their energy use. Another leveraged her studies in graphic design to do the extensive layout for a 4-year strategic plan, which was later endorsed by council. We have students that work with us and go on to be engineers, project managers, project coordinators, social services caseworkers, financial administrators, and communications professionals, just to name a few. One individual who went on to work in the public service had this to say about her summer job experience. She said, "I would say that working for the county gave me great transferable skills for the job I ultimately took on, from administrative work to confidentiality, teamwork, delivering in a fast-paced environment, and working with different demographics. It also gave her a great sense of humanity and awareness to always be sensitive to an individual's situation and needs. At Northumberland County, we take very seriously our vision to bring together people, partnerships, and possibilities for a strong and vibrant Northumberland County. In this case, we're using our partnership with the federal government to offer training and work experience to the next generation of workers in our community, ultimately creating possibilities for their future and also for the communities that will support their profession. I thank the federal government for their ongoing collaboration through the Canada Summer Jobs Program, and I encourage other employers to seriously consider the advantages of hiring a student. The contribution that they make to the community at large is really tremendous, and we certainly appreciate what they do for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. There's a couple of things I want to do before we have a student who has asked to speak, and I think that's fabulous. I just want to mention a couple of things. First, you should know that the requests for the riding were $1.9 million. That was the number of requests we got. So if you think, talk about oversubscribed, but it just shows the interest in our community. So I think that's really important. And I have some people I need to thank before I turn it over. Our staff. In the riding, we have 5 people in the riding. All of our staff are concentrated in the riding. A lot of us are just a busy place. The important work is done here. And they organized this and put this on and did a fabulous job, so I want to thank them as well. And particularly this one person who's known to many of you in this room, Jamie Simmons, who is my communications director and community liaison. Jamie is the one who took on the lion's share of this. In fact, he took it all on. The work to manage this from a $1.9 million request down into the budget of $625,000 to make sure that we got the most number of students, the most number of experiences, and responded to the wide variety of requests from across this very broad, vast riding. And I just want to say a big thank you to Jamie. I know you work nights and weekends to get this done, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we have a young lady from the Love of Art from Newcastle. Is this your first summer experience through this program?
No, I've been on the program for...
Oh, so we have history. This is Emily Buckley.
I have had the amazing opportunity to be a summer art camp counselor at a Gift of Art for a number of years. And the reason why I've had this opportunity is because of funding programs like this one. What I love about art is that it has power to heal, it has the power to inspire people, and part of our summer art camp is that we are giving that empowerment to children. And what I love about that so much is that you can really see the benefit of art, see how it's helping children. And we wouldn't be able to do that if it was not for programs like this. In the art community, it is really hard to get funding, but I think in society, people are starting to see the importance of art, and they are starting to see the benefit of it. And I think that it will continue to grow as we move on in our society. And so I would just like to say thank you for making our programs possible with programs like this.
Well, once again, thank you all for coming this morning. I was going to ask for questions. I'm not sure there are any questions because everyone knows what they're getting. You all know you're getting students and you're all getting support to take care of them. But I will be around for next while to chat and answer any questions. And if you have suggestions, if you have thoughts, if you have ideas, we want to hear from them. All of our my contact information is there. Please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you very much and enjoy this gorgeous day.